He is rich or poor according to what he is, not according to what he has.
Amen.
Henry Ward Beecher, that was the guy that wrote that. Now I read about this story, it's a true story, and it's about a guy in southern India. And I know this is going to sound kind of funny because some people might say, well, that's not appropriate, but it is. I mean, I'm coming home with a point here. And he's in southern India. He's a rat exterminator. A little thing come off. Thank you. And his people have traditionally been rat and snake catchers for the local farmers, and they provided an invaluable service to where he was from. Now, to accomplish his work, here's what he does. He searches for tunnels, burrows, and then blocks up all the exits except for one, and then the next thing he puts a clay pot over one end of it, and over the open holes that he found, and then he goes in there and he puts starts the fire, puts this pot over the fire, and he starts to blow smoke into the holes. Okay, and then what ends up happening is before long the rodent is stunned. He reaches in. This guy reaches in, and he finds the tail and he extracts this creature blindly. In other words, he can't see him. He's got his hand stuck. I don't know about you, but I'm not too thrilled about sticking my hand in the dark hole. Knowing there's something in there to start with is one thing. And so, and you know, that's God's like that though. We can start out in some real areas of darkness that we go to sometimes. I mean, I've been into some dark places in my time. And, it's amazing what God can do if you're just willing to go.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
He'll provide. He'll make things happen. And so before long, this rodent, it's stunned. And so after reaching in there and he grabs him by the tail and he pulls him out. Now, this practice that he does is yielding at least 5 rats a day. And he's paid a whopping 5 cents for each one. And so there was another story that came out about 10 years ago, and back then there was a new invention that had arrived on the scene, and it was a metal container, and it was built in such a way that it would house a fire in it, and it had an automatic pump that would blow the smoke in. And by that one little let me just tell you about inventions, okay, or about things. I've seen people's lives manifest and change because they were going through the junk mail and they got ready to throw some away and they got an unctioning. Have you ever had an unctioning? You know what an unctioning is? It's kind of like, maybe I ought to keep that. Now, if you're a hoarder, you might be a problem with that, okay? But I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about not keeping everything. I'm talking about all of a sudden, normally you would throw all this stuff out, right? You trash it out, and all of a sudden, and this farmer found a machine doing that. And he thought, maybe I need to check this out. And this was during a time when there was a drought going on. And yet his 100-acre field was producing unbelievable bushels of vegetables. And the fence row away wasn't receiving nothing. But this guy planted seed into the kingdom of God, understood it, planted a seed, and called that seed what he wanted it. And when that seed came back, it came back in the form of this cultivator, this particular machine. See, God's not just all of a sudden going to rain down money from the sky. It's just not going to happen. What he's going to do is he's going to give you a thought. Right. He's going to put you in the right place. It's going to be somewhere where somebody is going to say, you know, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I believe the Lord's telling me. Yeah. Am I right? Yeah. That's the way he moves. Right. Be expecting it. That's right. Yeah. That's the way I say. I mean, if you're going to pray, why not expect the prayer to come to pass? Right? Okay, so here this invention came out, and it increased the efficiency for this man to harvest 20 rats per day. He quadrupled his income. He was now making a staggering $1 a day. Now the story doesn't stop there now. Check this out. He brings this critter home to his family that includes 9 kids. He brings these critters home. And you probably may have guessed it by now, but I don't know if you have or not. But then he adds a little grain to it, and they have all they need for their daily meal. I thought you'd love that. In some places, it's a gourmet. It really is. They wait in restaurants on the floor waiting for them to serve. They have these water traps and catch these rats and stuff. So, that's the end of my sermon. I want you to go home with that. Okay? Now listen, this guy, his hut is small, okay? The walls are mud, the floor is dirt, the roof is straw, but at least, this is what he said, at least now they have plenty of food. My children don't go hungry these days, handing the catch to his wife. They feast. Now I want you to check this guy out, just so you know I'm not making this up. This is a story about him, and of course you can't see the rat, but I'll let you see it up close now. Huh? Okay? You see the rat that he catches? Now, what do you see in this guy when you look at him? Huh? What do you see in this guy? I mean, that ain't no joke of a rat now. Yes. Huh? You got some meat on something. Okay. And this article, when it came out, it was back about 2008, 2007, stuff like that. And it says a better rat trap improves a lot of his whole people. And so I want to build on this a little bit, because it really brought something to me to start thinking about this when we're talking about and I really should have said in the beginning that the title of this is called "Can Money Buy Contentment?" And so we're going to see. Now this guy, when you look at him, he's just a poor man in a white t-shirt and white shorts. And so, he's kneeling on the ground. And like I said, he's holding a pretty good sized rat there. But the thing that I caught that really helped me understand a little bit is that I looked at this little, he's got this little Mona Lisa smirky smile on him, doesn't he? Huh? Yeah. Can you see that? Yeah. And so, now, if you think about it a little deeper, I think we're going to realize that he's not smiling because he caught a rat. No. I think he's smiling because he found some newfound wealth and what it was going to mean. Am I right? Yes. Okay, now, let me throw in the midst of this a little bit of something else I think would be an intriguing question to ask you. Now, when I found out about this guy, I read the article, and he was making about 400% more than what he was. Now, the question, I did the math. Now, the question I'm going to have to ask, not only myself, but I want to ask you the same question. If I were to go back into the time frame when this was happening, back around 2007, 2008, in that range, that's what the article said. Keeping in mind what was going on then. Now, I don't know about you, but we were right at a point where we had been going like gangbusters, like full speed ahead. We were making money hand over fist. I mean, we was setting some records, and then all of a sudden, she went south on us, didn't she? Ask yourself this question. Now I want you to be honest with yourself. Was this guy a happier man than I was? Or I could even say a happier person than I was. Was this guy happier than I was? Remember now, we're talking about back then, and when he started bringing home plenty of meat and grain, and when the new rat trap gave a sense of hope to his, not only to him, but to his whole community. It was a big deal. They said that this rat trap guy and this thing that did it, that there was an article, another article that was written that said it would feed 3 meals a day for the entire population.
Wow.
So during that particular interval of time, did he have a deeper sense of contentment than I? What about you? I don't know about you, but it is an interesting question, especially for us in the Western society, to ponder, don't you think? One might say it sounds totally ridiculous, preposterous even, doesn't it? To even consider such a notion that an impoverished people living on mangy rats might be happier than a successful middle-class American. It's just unthinkable. Now, I don't care how bad the economy it was at that time. I think it would be safe bet to say that even the poorest among us would live better than these people. So here's a few more questions I want us to ponder on, okay? See, we have a tendency to look at our situation, and it is, in a lot of cases, bad situations. But I always kind of say within myself, I'm still better off than some other people that I know.
Right. That's right.
And then I think about those other people, and I pray for them people.
Yeah.
Because I don't want them to be there either.
That's right.
I don't want to be there, and I don't want them to be.
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
So here are a few more questions. What contributes to our sense of joy and satisfaction? Good question. What contributes to our joy and satisfaction? Do the countries with the most money have the most happiness? Do the countries with most progress have most contentment? See, we're not talking about just money, we're talking about progress. Does a heightened socioeconomic level automatically increase our satisfaction with life? Just because we live in an economical, successful area, does that automatically increase our satisfaction with life? Now, this is going to kind of shock you, I think. It might come as a surprise. And I started looking it up and seeing some stuff. I thought, that's a mind blower. I'm going to share that. At least during the time period of a recent survey, India ranked as the second happiest country in the world. Yeah, I thought so too. Now, granted, this was an IPSOS survey, IPSOS. It included only 24 represented countries, but among these polled, Indonesia was first with 51%, very happy, followed by India, 43% very happy, followed by Mexico, Brazil, Turkey, and then the U.S. at 28% very happy. This IPSOS identifies the very happy category as the most important measurement for accurate comparison because that identifies the depth and the intensity of happiness. So they weren't just going because you said, yeah, they were trying to get to the nitty-gritty happy. How deep does this go? I mean, happy or very happy? You're so happy, you're kind of happy, you're very happy. Okay? Now, majority in the influential West automatically assume that we are the happiest because we are the wealthiest. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, come on, of all the errors in history, we have it the best, and so obviously our mood, you know, the way we feel about our life, must reflect that, right? We've got so much, it must reflect. We've got to be happy. Now, on second thought, perhaps not. Okay, the bottom line is this, that the results of this poll, which is typical of the survey, of such a survey, shows the U.S. tied for 6th. Not a bad position, but most would be surprised because of the fact that they find Indonesia, India, Mexico, Turkey ahead of us, with Indonesia nearly doubling the U.S. This guy, he's a rat killer. Let's look at another country, Nigeria. In the country of Africa, the most populous country on the continent, and it's a major world oil producer. It also continually hits all kinds of problems with political problems as well as fighting between Muslims and Christians. Now, where do they fit in this happiness survey? Now, there's a British study, this is part of that ISIS study of 65 countries within the past decade, placed them in the top immediately, followed Nigeria was Mexico, Venezuela, El Salvador, and Puerto Rico. The U.S. was 16th. It turns out that despite frequent chaos, Nigeria people are famous for their optimism, smiles, and laughter. Now we're talking about happiness. Now I'm fixing to jump over into something else, okay? Quality of life. Okay? Now this report that came out about the quality of life, it was done in 188 countries. Here, as expected, the Western nation finished at near the top, with the U.S. at number 1. Hey! Finally! We're number 1. Quality of life. A list of the countries have been mentioned in what I was just talking about previously, but here there were a few graphs that I had. Here's the quality of life ranking. You ready? Okay. U.S. number 1. Mexico 39th. Brazil 43rd. Turkey 67th. El Salvador 77th. Indonesia 99.
Wow.
Puerto Rico 100. India 138. Venezuela 145. Nigeria 162. So we quickly see the disconnect between happiness and the quality of life, do we not? Nigeria finished first in the happiness survey, but 162 in the quality of life study. Isn't that amazing? There's something to this contentment thing. I'm trying to tell us. I'm trying to tell myself. It's the Word. And India was second in the happiest survey, but 138 in the quality of life study. Okay, now, with all that being said, it seems that the happiness of a nation has less to do with its quality of life than we might think. I don't know about you, but when I found out this stuff, I started reading it, I'm sharing it with you, it really kind of blew my mind. It went along with what I needed to continue on with this contentment series a little bit, and so we used it. But I mean, if you think about it, it's pretty cool. And I'll tell you why I think it's pretty cool. Because when you realize this, that God does not preferentially give joy only to economically advantage. Am I right? You don't have to have a sack full of money to be happy. How about this one statement? Money does not buy happiness. Maybe. Yes, maybe not. Let's talk about it. On a global scale, if happiness is our goal, it is clear that the affluent countries that we call ourselves have no more advantage than other countries that don't have hardly anything. You know, their GDP, gross domestic product, their GDP per capita in the U.S. is 20 times higher than Nigeria, but we are less happy than they are. 20 times higher. Every study confirms the same general results too, that we were looking at. The desire for material things function as happiness. You know, if you look at this and you think about material things, and if you're thinking this is what you got to have to be happy, then what ends up happening is you've walked into this. It's a suppressant. It really is. Your desire for material things, always wanting. I mean, think about all the stuff we get, we have. I mean, it's so much. We could live on a whole lot less, and I promise you, we'll probably be happy. Now, Jackie's really moving on me to try to get that done. She wants me to start in my shop. And I don't know about that. But we could, if we could.
You need to start at home, in the house.
In-house, it should be an in-home thing.
Just this.
I'd really like for you guys to see this one video I watched. It's called Minimalism.
That's called sex.
Somebody say it right.
Minimalism.
Everybody say it together. All right, so remember that now. Watch it. It's about some guys that were upscale New York City. I mean, getting ready to get to the next level of the big dog, big money, but they knew they were going to be wrapped up so much that one guy says, he looks at the other guy and he finds out, he says, "Why are you so happy?" He said, "I don't get it." And he was going the same direction as his buddy was. And he says, "You really want to know?" And so he told him, he said, I just got rid of everything except for what I need." And so he went to his house and showed him, and now they go around, they got books, they go around teaching people how to minimalize. Not capitalize, minimalize. Okay. Okay, when short-term mission doctors, they go over to these cities all the time, and then they come back. Here's what they say. They say they always comment on the surprising happiness of very poor people. Now, on a chronological scale, people across the age have always found their own source of happiness, and for us to kind of assume modernism, have a degree of joy unknown to previous generations is presumptuous as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you really just kind of presume that, because we can go back hundreds of years in people's writings of how happy they were, and they didn't have near the stuff we got.
Right.
Yes.
See, don't presume just because we're constantly growing and improving and getting so supposedly improving and getting all this stuff to improve our lives. Think about tools that you used to have back in the day behind a horse and a thing, and now you jump in a tractor with an air conditioner and everything, and you got all your surround sound with it, and you can just and guess what? You can plow a gazillion more acres than somebody behind that mule.
Right.
So I mean, God has blessed us with that kind of stuff.
He can give you a zillion more hours to pay for that tractor.
True enough. But we're not making 5 cents a rat anymore.
That's right. That's right.
It's $100 a rat now. See, for example, studies across the industrialized countries have found no increase in happiness. Now think about it, that's in our country. No increase in happiness from World War II until the present day, despite greatly increased wealth. No more happiness has been since World War II. And if you go by the scale that we just said, you see, we're 16th in places. Check this out. In the U.S. on an internal scale, we find our emotions tracking more in line with common perceptions. Like people show increasing happiness with increasing income. We see that. That's up to a point. And here's what we found in studies. That we can, up to a point when we can afford our proceed basic needs. In other words, we're happy once we come to a place and a level where we can provide, and we have provision for just our basic needs. We're happy. And then what happens that we start to go even further, and as we go further into getting more and more, we find ourselves in a chronic stress of meeting monthly bills, and it's very painful. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
And falling behind month after month is hard to endure.
Yes.
And after a point where we have our basic needs met, happiness kind of levels out. We're not peaking because we're getting more. We just we level out right there. That's what the study shows. But also, and here's another thing. Beyond this level, with further rising of income, we do experience an increase in overall life satisfaction. So we get increase in income, we are happier, but then once we meet our basic needs, we still get more steam. We're not really getting any more happier about it. But also with this offsetting increase that we're talking about making more money now, here's what else has increased. Worry, anxiety, work pressure, and aggravation.
Amen.
I heard an amen. Contentment and money can actually be really a conflicting story here. So why all the fuss about money? It seems there should be a matter of fact to the subject. No, there should be just a factual thing. This is it. Money is good. Money helps. Money, gives us what we need. And it does. We can eat green, when you get right down to it though, money, we can't eat green paper, can we?
No.
Am I right? Nor do we, and for that matter, we can't eat silver or gold. You got to get into silver. You got to get into gold. This is what's only going to stay with you. But if you, food really comes in pretty close to top notch.
Yeah.
Right.
It comes right at the top of the list. I don't care if you got silver or gold. If you got food, you got something going. Money is just a placeholder. It's a making it easier to buy, sell, accumulate. You go to the store, right? Now, a dollar is worth a dollar only because it's based on international markets, what they say it's worth. And since we must have something as a medium of exchange, what is the big deal? Really shouldn't be. Now, I want you to understand that God understood the importance and the issue of being able to have money. It's not something that He doesn't say we can't have. Okay? The scriptures paint two very contrasting pictures about money, though. On the righteous side of it, I'm going to give you kind of the righteous side of it and then the evil side of it. On the righteous side of it, God uses money to bless untold millions and advance the kingdom. The unrighteous side, the evil one, uses money to corrupt people,
Yes. Yes.
to separate them from God and each other, and to sow discord and discontentment. In the battleground of good versus evil, there has never been the forces as powerful as money. And I'm going to tell you this. I want you to note that God never, under any condition, needs money to accomplish His purpose.
Right.
Keep that in mind. That said, He does use money in various ways, and He does it to bless His people and also to test us. And you say, well, I'd like to get some of that testing. Give me a sack full of money, let me see what I do with it. I would wonder what you would do with that. You may say, well, I'll be the same. I'll be steady. Oh, have I said that before? So, I know some of you may be getting this, and some of you may be saying, come on, you have to get over the program. What's this got to do with God? God gives us the ability to earn money, just as He gives us the ability to work. See, a lot of times people just think it's just going to come rolling out of the sky somewhere. No, go get you some of that. All you got to do, go to work. Go get you some of that. You want something? Go get you some. Go get you some work. It gives you the ability to provide for your needs. Just like that man going out there. He ain't just sitting around the house hoping somebody's going to bring him some rats. Okay? He's got to go get some of that. And then he's come up with, he was looking for another way to better himself. And all of a sudden he got, an idea came, a thought came, some invention came. Boom, man, he jumped on that one. And now his family is fed, feasting, not starving to death most of the time. Money allows us to obtain a place to live and pay our expenses. Money allows us to purchase the unprecedented advantages of progress, including not only necessity, but many comforts and desires as well. I like air conditioning, and I don't care, as long as I got some money, I'm going to have me some air conditioning in Jesus' name. Amen. I got me an amen on that one, didn't I? Oh, you just go without it for a while and see if you...
That's right.
Yeah, just go without it for, if you're down here in Florida, this is a whole other animal. You might get away with that up in the mountains of North Carolina. Then you'd be wanting heat. We're never satisfied, are we?
Amen.
Money allows us to have experiences that were denied by earlier generations, like traveling, for one thing. We just got back, Jackie and I just got back, jumped in a motorhome, just decided we're going to take off and go to Louisiana. We had planned to be there because of a wedding, and Jackie's sister's daughter was getting my niece, our niece, married and everything. And so we stayed there for 2 days. Then we went to Louisiana, and I went to go see my mentor over there, and we had a good time over there. And then we came back, and we got back, and we said, well, we promised the kids that we'd take them out. So the grandkids, and we hooked them up and went to camp out somewhere, and we went on the beach and went body surfing and boogie board surfing or whatever, and we had us a good time. They didn't used to be able to do that years ago, or jump in an airplane and go across the country. Money allows us the joy of experiencing that, and more blessed, and this is what it allows us to do. It's more blessed to give than to receive. I don't know about you, it's hard to give money if you haven't got money. Money allows us to test our heart to see if we are funnels or are we sponges. You see how are you a giver or are you a taker? Are you always sponging? Are you always soaking up everything around you? But you never give it. Money allows more businesses to grow and hire, allowing more people to live better and give more. Money is used for the growth of local church, our body here, and other community ministries. We're feeding the hungry.
That's right.
Am I right? Yeah. So we're talking about what's good about money. Money sponsors unprecedented, explosive mission work around the world.
Yes.
The Methodist denomination, that's part of that proportionate, or now it's what we give back to the Methodist denomination so they can do the things that God has called the Methodist denomination to do across the world.
Yes.
As God determines, He gives sufficient wealth to the righteous for the benefit of building up the church and providing for the poor. That's what we should be doing.
Yeah.
Now God has anointed some with the gift of giving. Have you been around some of them? I know some people that were gift of givers. They gave and gave and they gave. What happens if you're a giver is all of a sudden you'll start getting linked up with organizations and other likewise, and pretty soon you become networked in that area of giving. Now here's the curse of money. Ready? Money has been used for millennials as a medium of commercial exchange, but since the Industrial Revolution, it came into place. Now that was a heavy-duty deal there when the Industrial Revolution came in. I mean, because it changed our life. That was how America was built during the Industrial Revolution. Men became major wealthy. People were able to see something and know that we could do this. Build a car, started out with an idea, and all of a sudden it becomes a manufacturing thing, and it blew up. The lights blew up. It has picked up speed and it's gained dominance, though. It was a good thing. Today, it flies around the globe in unheard of speed, basically combines with progress to run the world. So we're talking about money and progress. Those two have hooked up pretty hot and heavy. And that is almost an unstoppable force. Because if you stop it, we're going to be in trouble. The Bible warns us repeatedly about its power, speaking more about money than prayer. I heard that. I thought, that's wild. But it's true when I started thinking about it. He talked a lot about money, a lot about riches, a lot about that stuff, that, you know, being enticed. Money is singled out by God for special warning. He singled it out. He said, beware. Money, the love of money, is the root of all evil. It is the only power having the audacity to kind of run toe-to-toe with God, and He's challenging ownership of us. God, we're God's, but money runs neck and neck with God, challenging us. Come over on my side. No one can serve two masters, is what the Bible said. Jesus said. He said, either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will devote to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. Money has now replaced God in the hearts of many people. If, as a nation, we love money more than God, He will notice in Deuteronomy 8:17-18. I'm just going to read it. I don't think I put that one down, Kerry. And we're going to get it down toward the end there. You may say to yourself, my power and strength of my hand have provided this wealth for me. But remember what the Lord says. What does the Lord say? Lord God, He says, it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth. It's not by your hand, your powers. It's Him that gives you the ability to produce wealth. Money and progress now have a lot of power. They're together in power. Together they control our economy, which means they control our institutions, our governments, our individual lives. The economic and financial system are very complex. They are. Money leads to a lot of things. Money belongs to, this is a quartet, and it's a dangerous one. Money, sex, power, and fame.
Yeah.
Put them together and see what you get.
Yeah.
It's an addictive behavior.
Yeah.
See, what it does is, it's a cycle, and it's a spin cycle. It's each time around. You keep going around the same track. The spin, it becomes greater than the earn, and that requires more work. Am I right? Because money leads to greed, and that's all it is. Most of the dysfunction in our nation, the economy, is based on the fact that, you know, there's this trace of greed And it's not just in just a few people, it's in large institutions, as well as individual behaviors.
That's why cancer is still prevalent.
That's what we were talking about earlier when we were praying. Somebody should have already got this thing. You would think with all the money spent, this thing figured out. I don't think it is. I think
The pharmaceutical company.
it's a pharmaceutical thing, yeah. Man never has, okay, we had this recession and it's seen that we had a hole in our economical system. And it's been difficult to correct. And so the recessions are, they're painful, first of all. And that as soon as, what's funny is as soon as we escape this recession, people begin repeating the same pattern of risky behavior. Am I right?
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell myself as an individual that me and Jackie have promised, okay, we're going to do this. When we get out of this, we're going to do this and this and this. And we still finding ourselves, ooh, I like that new car. Or let's go ahead and take off for a few days more. And so we forget very easily when the thing starts to build back up, which is what's happening right now. We're starting to get back up in there. We need to remember where we were.
Right.
And I know this for a fact because I felt this. I was just like, man, I don't care. God is completely debt-free, and I don't care if I live in a little small house. I just want to be where we can come and go and be happy about coming and going and not worrying about all this stuff. You know, when you get money and everything is so full, so much, what you got there is, you know, if you go look around, I'm not picking on anybody, I'm not trying to say anything, but, you know, and I know how hard it is. Because it's so easy, we're on the road, it's just so easy to stop and go get these fast foods and get this stuff, and all of a sudden we got obesity, diabetes, rampant.
Yeah.
People are increasingly drawn to money, careers. They go after the careers rather than deciding where God wants me to go. They don't consider the fact that they don't even care about what church they're going to go to. If they're going to make a move, it's not about church. It's about, I'm going to go over and get some more money.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll find me a church. You need to go find your church before you decide to go over and move it. Because if you can't find a church, then you need to just figure on this ain't where God wants you to be.
Right.
You need to be planted.
Yeah.
Amen.
We do. We need to be planted.
Good.
Money is earned by working, allowing us to buy possessions. But money, working, and possessions cannot buy community, faith, or family, nor relief from loneliness, anxiety, or depression. It's thought that the internet, that pornography paid for much of the development of the internet. So, you got somebody like Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, they got $50 billion of personal wealth each. And yet at the same time, they come out and they began a foundation, although without personal sacrifice. They didn't have to sacrifice anything, it's just part of it's like a tip. I don't know about that. I find that a little incomprehensible. And I think God does too. So let's read what God says about that kind of stuff. He says, 1 John 3, verse 17 and 18, if you got your Bible. And we're done. We're just about done. Really. Oh no, there's more pages. No. Those are the other ones. 1 John 3, 17 and 18. If anyone has the world's good and sees his brother in need, yet closes his heart against him, how does God love abide in him? Go to Hebrews 13:5. Keep your lives free from the love of money and be content with what you have. I'm giving you the answers now because it's in the Word. God has said, never will I leave you, never will I forsake you. I don't care how bad it looks. He said He'll never leave us. He'll never forsake us. I don't know about you, but I know there's some of you in here right now that have went through some terrible times, struggling times, hardship times, loss, lost little, not lost little, lost big. He's with us. He'll
Yes,
never
He
leave
is.
us. He'll
Yes,
never
He is.
forsake us.
Amen.
He's always with us.
Amen.
You can bank on Him.
Amen.
You can't bank on the banks, but you can bank on Him.
Amen.
Amen.
Bank on your-
1 Timothy 16. I'm sorry, 1 Timothy 6, 17 through 19, it says, command those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant, nor to put their hope in wealth. This sucker flies away, grabs wings, and flies off. Am I right?
Right.
Which is so uncertain, but to put their hope in God, who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. Happy. For us to be happy. Command them to do good, to be rich in good deeds, and to be generous and willing to share. Willing to share.
Yeah.
And this way, they will lay up treasures for themselves as firm foundations for the coming age, so that they may take hold of the life that is truly life. Truly life. We got the most money and the least happiness, almost. Indonesia, India, they got no money and they are the happiest. 1 Timothy 6, verse 6 through 8. But godliness with contentment, here we go, is what? Great gain. Let me read that again. But godliness with contentment, the key is contentment. I'm telling you, because it's a choice. You have to take your will. You have to, when you're mad, you have to stop. You have to say to within yourself, I don't want to be like this, and I choose not to be like this.
Right. Amen.
Amen.
It's a choice. It's not, I should be happy when everything's falling apart. And the flesh comes in and says, we're not spending any more money. We're going to make sure, And God says, look, you walk in contentment. You love each other.
Yeah.
You speak peace to each other.
Yeah.
You build each other up.
Yes.
You don't put each other down. You lift each other up.
Yeah.
Your burden is my burden. And Jesus says, his yoke is easy, his burden is light. In just a little bit.
Yeah.
Then where is your contentment? Because if your contentment is not in the ability that God gives you through walking in His Spirit, knowing that He directs us, He leads and guides us according to the Holy Spirit, that He will put you in the right place, the right time to be able to receive the things that you have no idea you were even going to receive, had no idea that this was going to happen to you. You will be blessed. And you better take that blessing and know this. It is not the blessing that makes you content. It's the contentment that God gives you willingness to be able to say, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Good, bad. That's
Right.
not easy.
Right.
Good, bad, up,
Right.
down, full,
Amen. Yeah.
hungry.
Right.
Can you do that? I pray we can.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you think God is moving on you right now, if you're getting this little move in your spirit, and you want to do better at walking in this contentment, this contentment, this life walking out contentment, it's a life thing now. He intended us to walk in this from the very beginning, Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
Then I want you to make a step of faith. I want you to humble yourself by coming forward and letting not only myself but other people pray with you. I want to tell you, if you feel like you you must leave. I get that. Be blessed. Go quietly while others are praying. Can I get an amen?
Amen.